Hey everyone, my name is Jessica Green. I'm your student's Algebra 1 teacher for this year. This video should give you a brief overview of everything that's going to be going on in class this year, and hopefully will answer any questions that you have. So first of all, here is my contact information. Email is the easiest way to get a hold of me simply because I'm teaching all day, so it's a little difficult to answer the phone, but my extension is there in case you would like to use it. All right, so what supplies does your student need? They will definitely need pencils or erasable pens. The reason I ask them not to have permanent pen is because it's math. We're going to make some mistakes in here, so we need to be able to erase. They also need to have one of the following: either a notebook and a folder, or a binder with loose leaf paper. It's a personal preference, whichever they prefer to have. They will also need to have a calculator. On your screen, you should see a picture of the one that I recommend. It's called the TI-30XS. And the reason I recommend this one is because it has great fraction capabilities for your students and will also do everything that they will need a calculator to do throughout their high school career. And they may even be able to use it in college as well if they choose to go that route. And depending on what they end up majoring in when they get to that point. But it's a relatively cheap calculator. It's about 15, 20 bucks. You can find it just about anywhere. So that's the one that I recommend. Class expectations. We do a lot of group work in this class. In fact, the majority of our time here in the classroom is spent up at whiteboards, working with 2 to 3 peers on problems that I have put together that relate to the lesson that we are doing for the day. Students will also have checks for understanding that they will have to complete, but that will be done individually, just so I can see how they're doing throughout the course. Students, therefore, are expected to be active participants in class. That's the best way for them to learn the material that we're doing, make sure that they stay focused and listen to the conversations that are being said in their groups, as well as the whole class discussions that we do after each problem. If they are struggling, I can't say enough about how students need to reach out to me and let me know and come in during SSRT for help. That's another reason why we do so many check for understandings as well, so that I can see which students may need a little extra support and I can encourage them to come in and work with me. Finally, we're rarely going to have homework in this class simply because we do so much work throughout the day in the classroom. I feel like they're getting all the practice that they should need in the classroom. But there are going to be review materials and things like that posted to Canvas in case they would like to practice some more at home. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about Canvas. All right, so the big piece here is the reassessment policy and grading practices. The grade breakdown over the course of the semester will be 85% summative. That's any quiz and test that your student takes in this class. And 15% will be formative. The homework piece is there just in case we do have any assignments, but for the most part, that formative assessment or formative work is going to be made up of any in-class assignments that your students have and each check for understanding that we do for each lesson. Now, there are ways that your student can improve their grade. If your student doesn't do as well as they may have liked on a test, they do have the opportunity to retake that test one time with no cap on how well they can do. The only requirement is that they continue to be an active participant in class. Again, since we're doing group work and I'm wandering around the room constantly, it's very easy for me to see who is participating and who is not. So please encourage your students to be active participants every day that they are here in class. There's also a quiz replacement policy. Students can't retake quizzes, but what I do is if a student does better on the test for a particular unit than they did on the quiz for that unit, the test score replaces the old quiz score. So, for example, if a student got a 60% on a quiz, when they take that unit's test, if they get a 95 on it, that 95 is now the test score as well as the quiz score. So the new learning is still replacing the old learning in that regard. Finally, if you ever want to know how your student is doing in class, PowerSchool is the place to go. I don't post grades on Canvas, so you want to make sure that you're checking PowerSchool anytime you're looking for your child's grade. I keep it as up to date as possible. In fact, I try and do it about every day or every other day at least. Okay, so we have a new cell phone and technology policy this year because of the new Indiana law. So, what happens in my class is I have a little caddy that is numbered, and each student has their own number. At the beginning of class, right before the bell rings, I ask that students place their phones on silent and put it in the numbered slot that is their number. And it stays there for the entirety of the class. And then, about 5 minutes to go at the end of class, I allow students to come back up and get their phones. I don't collect headphones or AirPods or anything like that, watches, just because that could get a little bit chaotic. However, I have told the students that if I see them using it in class, I am going to go ahead and collect those and give them back to them at the end of the class as well. Okay, so Canvas basics. Any material that you could possibly be looking for this course can be found in the modules tab. I have broken it down by unit and then further broken it down by lesson. And inside each of those lessons, you will find video notes of the questions that we've done in class, a copy of the notes, as well as any review materials for the tests and quizzes that we have coming up. Now, the way in which I go and solve each problem may be different than the way we do it in class, simply because my class is student led. So there are different ways to answer each question. And I just kind of let the students take the conversation the way it needs to go. But I do make sure that we do end up with the correct answer. But I just wanted to make sure we knew that the notes that you find on Canvas might be slightly different than the ones that we would get in class. Any information that will be sent out, or any special information will be sent out via Canvas announcements. So that would be things like any e-learning days that we end up having this winter, or any special changes to the schedule. Those types of things you can find in the announcements tab. And finally, all test dates will be posted to the Canvas calendar, and I can easily drag and drop them if the dates change. So if you ever want to check and see when your student has an algebra test coming up, you'll just need to go to the Canvas calendar and it'll be listed there. Thank you for your time and listening to this video. If you have any questions about how Algebra 1 is conducted in this class, or just general things at all, please feel free to contact me via email. It's jgreen@ccs.k12.in.us. Have a great day.